If you watched NASCAR this weekend, you saw something that genuinely did not feel real. Hendrick Motorsports, the most dominant organization in modern NASCAR, just had one of the most embarrassing weekends in recent memory at Watkins Glen. We are talking about 4 cars, all running for the same team, and not a single one of them finished higher than 23rd. 23rd. Kyle Larson, 23rd. Chase Elliott, 24th. Alex Bowman, 25th. William Byron, 36th. 4 cars from one of the biggest, most well-funded organizations in NASCAR, and the best they could do was 23rd place. And honestly, as a fan, that is genuinely shocking to watch, because this is Hendrick Motorsports. This is the team that has won 14 Cup Series championships. This is the team that has produced legends like Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and most recently the reigning back-to-back champion Kyle Larson. When Hendrick has a bad weekend, it usually means one of their cars finished outside the top 10. Not all 4 of them finishing outside the top 20. But here is the thing. This is not just one story. Because there is a second storyline coming out of Hendrick's Watkins Glen disaster that makes this even more dramatic. Chase Elliott, the same driver who won at Texas Motor Speedway just 1 week ago, the same driver who looked like he was finally back to championship form, just finished 24th. 1 week after celebrating in victory lane, he could not even crack the top 20. And the way that fall happened tells you a lot about how unforgiving the modern NASCAR Cup Series has become. So today, we are breaking down both of these stories because what happened to Hendrick Motorsports at the Glen this weekend is going to have ripple effects through the rest of the 2026 season. And hey, real quick, if you are new here, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. This channel is just getting started. We are pushing for 1,000 subscribers, and if you live and breathe NASCAR like I do every single week, you are in the right place. Welcome to Freedom Line News. All right, let's get into the first story, because what Hendrick Motorsports just experienced at Watkins Glen is the kind of weekend that gets analyzed for months inside the race shop. Let me set this up properly. Hendrick Motorsports came into Watkins Glen with real momentum. Just 1 week earlier, Chase Elliott had won the Verth 400 at Texas Motor Speedway. That was his second win of the season. It was his earliest multi-win season of his entire career. The team had 3 wins on the year, through 11 races. They were starting to feel like the dominant force they have always been. Heading into the road course at the Glen, the expectation was that Hendrick was going to be a real factor. And it makes sense why fans expected that. Chase Elliott has historically been one of the best road course racers in the entire Cup Series. He has multiple road course wins to his name. He grew up dreaming about road course racing. The Watkins Glen schedule was supposed to play right into his strengths. Kyle Larson is one of the most versatile drivers in the field, capable of winning on any track type. William Byron has been improving as a road course racer year after year. Alex Bowman, even with the vertigo recovery, was coming off a strong third-place finish at Texas. All the ingredients were there for a big Hendrick weekend at Watkins Glen. And then the race started, and everything fell apart. Let's go through what happened, because this is honestly painful to watch as a NASCAR fan. William Byron got into trouble first. Early in Stage 2, around lap 44, he was collected in tight racing on a restart and spun. The damage to his number 24 Liberty University Chevrolet was significant. His day basically ended right there. By the time the checkered flag waved, Byron was 3 laps down in 36th place. Kyle Larson, the reigning 2-time Cup Series champion, never found speed. The number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet just was not competitive on the road course. Larson ran around mid-pack for most of the race. He finished 23rd. For a driver who is one of the most versatile in NASCAR, who can win on dirt tracks and road courses and super speedways and short tracks, finishing 23rd at Watkins Glen is shocking. Alex Bowman, who had been one of the inspirational stories of the 2026 season after coming back from his vertigo battle, also struggled. The number 48 Chevrolet just could not match the pace of the Toyotas and the Trackhouse Chevrolets. Bowman finished 25th. After the high of his third-place finish at Texas just 1 week earlier, this was a brutal step backward. And then there is Chase Elliott, the Texas winner, the driver who looked like he was finally back to his 2020 championship form. Elliott finished 24th. 24th. 1 week after standing in victory lane at Texas Motor Speedway, he could barely break the top 25 on a road course, where he is historically one of the best drivers in the entire series. Now, here is what makes this so significant. Watkins Glen is not just any road course. It is a track where Chase Elliott has performed at an elite level for years. It is a track where road course specialists shine. And the fact that Hendrick Motorsports, with all their resources and all their road course history, that tells you something is genuinely wrong with the program right now. And as a fan, watching that happen, you start asking questions. Is this an equipment issue? Is this a setup problem? Did the team miss something fundamental about how the next-gen car was supposed to be set up for this specific track? Or is this just one of those bad weekends that every organization has from time to time? That brings us straight into the second story, because the Chase Elliott specific narrative coming out of Watkins Glen is fascinating. 1 week ago, this driver was on top of the world. He won at Texas. He moved up to third in the point standings. He passed multiple drivers to put himself in a position where the championship conversation included his name again. After years of criticism about not closing out races, after years of being told he was just a road course specialist who could not win at the bigger tracks, Chase Elliott had finally delivered the kind of statement performance fans had been waiting for. The momentum was real. The energy around the number 9 team was incredible. And heading into Watkins Glen, the conversation was about whether Elliott could go back-to-back. Could he win 2 weeks in a row? Could he take the momentum from Texas and translate it into another statement win at one of his best tracks? Those were the questions everyone was asking. And then he finished 24th. 24th. On a road course. Just 1 week after winning at Texas. The same driver. The same team. The same equipment. Completely different result. Honestly, that is what makes the modern NASCAR Cup Series so brutal. There is no momentum to ride. There is no win that carries forward. Every weekend is a complete reset. Every track has its own challenges. Every race demands perfect execution. And if your team misses on the setup, if your team misses on strategy, if your team misses on any one of 1,000 details, you go from winning the Worth 400 to finishing 24th at Watkins Glen in 7 days. For Chase Elliott personally, this has to hurt. Because this was a track where he was supposed to be a factor, where his road course skills were supposed to shine. And instead, he watched Shane Van Gisbergen put on a road course clinic. He watched Trackhouse Racing dominate, and he could not even crack the top 20. The number 9 team is going to spend the next week doing a complete deep dive on what went wrong. They need to figure it out because the All-Star race at Dover is next weekend. And after that, the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. 2 completely different race types, 2 completely different challenges, and Hendrick Motorsports cannot afford to keep having weekends like this if they want to keep up with Tyler Reddick and Joe Gibbs Racing in the championship hunt. Honestly, my take as a fan watching all of this is simple. Hendrick Motorsports just got a wake-up call, and it could not have come at a worse time. They had real momentum after Chase Elliott's Texas win. The conversation was shifting in their direction. And then, in one disastrous weekend at Watkins Glen, all that momentum got reset to zero. This is also a reminder of just how dominant Shane Van Gisbergen and Trackhouse Racing have become on road courses. When you are putting up performances like SVG just did, and you are doing it against the biggest organizations in NASCAR, you are not just winning races. You are reshaping the competitive hierarchy of the entire sport. And every weekend that Hendrick Motorsports finishes outside the top 20 at a road course is a weekend that Trackhouse Racing climbs higher in the conversation. For Kyle Larson, this is the 2nd straight week without strong results. He missed Talladega earlier in the season. He has 0 wins through 12 races. The 2-time defending champion is sitting 6th in points, 173 points behind Tyler Reddick. That is a recoverable gap, but it gets harder every week. And as a fan, you have to wonder when Larson is finally going to break through. For William Byron, the damage from that lap 44 incident is the kind of thing that ends days early. But it also raises questions about the number 24 team's broader 2026 season. Byron sits 8th in points, but he has not won a race this season either. For a driver who has consistently been one of the top championship contenders, that is a concerning trend. To wrap it all up, we had Hendrick Motorsports experiencing one of the most embarrassing weekends of their modern era at Watkins Glen, with all 4 cars finishing outside the top 20. And we had Chase Elliott specifically going from Texas winner to 24th place finisher in just 7 days, which tells you everything about how unforgiving the modern NASCAR Cup Series has become. And now we head into the All-Star race at Dover next weekend, with real pressure on Hendrick Motorsports to bounce back. Because momentum in NASCAR is fragile, trust inside a race team is fragile. And after a weekend like Watkins Glen, the organization is going to need to put together a strong performance at Dover just to stop the bleeding. If you are a NASCAR fan, this is the kind of weekend that reminds you how quickly things can shift. One week you are celebrating in victory lane. The next week, you are wondering what just happened. That is the beauty and the brutality of this sport. And right now, Hendrick Motorsports is feeling the brutal side of it in a major way. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think went wrong with Hendrick Motorsports at Watkins Glen? Is Chase Elliott's Texas win starting to look like a one-off rather than a real championship run? And should fans be worried about Kyle Larson's title defense after another disappointing weekend? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I really want to know what you think. And if you are a NASCAR fan who enjoys real conversations and honest opinions about the sport, subscribe to Freedom Line News. The channel is brand new, and we are pushing toward our first 1,000 subscribers together as NASCAR fans. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and check out the video on screen right now, where we break down Ty Gibbs and the young drivers absolutely shaking up the entire Watkins Glen weekend. You do not want to miss what these young guns just pulled off. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.